Won't be a recovery seen in weeks or months. Unfortunately, this is going to take years.
And unfortunately, we have seen this before. People uprooted by Hurricane Katrina and then scattered all across the country. Our Kevin Rader spoke with one of those families today about the difficulties that people in Houston now have ahead of them. Kevin.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that 12 years ago, when Katrina first came among land here in America, is when people, many were uprooted, had to literally pick up and leave everything they had behind. And they came to places like here in Indianapolis, where now we have like Paparoux here on the east side.
I don't need the red beans.
Art Bouvier decided he should cater to what refugees left behind.
Does this happen to be the Gator?
After all, he grew up in New Orleans, so he opened up Paparoux restaurant on the Far East Side.
Eric, we're looking at a Gator po' boy. All the kind of things you would get in New Orleans, plus the red beans and rice and all the right flavors. So come get them up here. We won't hurricane up here.
He grew up in New Orleans. His parents were still living there when Katrina struck 12 years ago.
So they went for a weekend. They didn't bring anything at all. And a day later, my dad called me from Texas, says, well, we're just waiting it out till we can go back to New Orleans. I said, Dad, there's no New Orleans to go back to. Now that's happening in Texas.
So his parents followed him to Indianapolis, and Paparoux was born.
It's too close to home. My family's all safe, but my friends now are in Texas, and they're not safe. So it's like living it all over again. It just won't stop. Red beans, chili.
As he thinks back, the family, he says, knew that they were living in a floodplain in New Orleans, but it had no water or flood problems for 40 years. His dad was starting to reconsider moving back, until now.
He's actually considering going back to New Orleans now, and I think this kind of makes you reconsider stuff like that. It's the same scenario all over again, right? Almost to the same day. Just now, the place that my parents went as a refuge from New Orleans needs a refuge itself.
It is hard to believe that 12 years have passed since Katrina, and even harder to believe that we're going through something very similar again. Emery?